Someone needs to tell summer to slow down. I can't believe it's going to be July at the end of the week. But that does mean that we have a whole new selection of books to celebrate those fun and unique holidays that pop up throughout the month. I love doing these videos each month and finding picture books to go along with each of these fun holidays. So let's jump right in to the July picture books. So the first holiday that we're going to celebrate in July is July 4th, or the 4th of July. So for that holiday, I have Blue Sky, White Stars. And the first thing that you'll notice when you open this book are the absolutely stunning illustrations. They're beautiful, and I feel like I could look at them all day long. This story pays tribute to the American flag and everything that it stands for. This simple but powerful text uses a play on words on every page throughout the book. This would be a great book to really dive deep into, especially with your upper elementary students. So even though there's only 1 or 2 words on each page, it will be really interesting to see if they can figure out what each one represents. As you go through the story, you'll realize that each page highlights various features of the flag in a unique way. And it really sheds light on those important patriotic phrases that we hear. And I think students will be able to make connections with this story. It's such a wonderful, hopeful reminder of our country that we need right now. Next up, on July 8th, we have National Video Game Day. But I'm gonna flip the switch on this one a bit. We're going to read The Couch Potato, which is part of a full series of books, and I highly recommend all of them. But in The Couch Potato, the potato in this story, all he does all day long is stare at screens, computer screens, phone screens, TV screens. And then one day there's a power surge and they all go off. He doesn't know what to do. He hasn't been outside in so long. It's at this point that he realizes that you need to get outside and experience life. You need to be a part of the beauty of nature and cherish the friendships that you have in real life. And what a wonderful thing the outside world is away from all of those screens. So I think that this is an important message, especially during the summer when it's so nice and beautiful outside, but students may fall into that routine of being stuck in front of a screen for a long time. A really fun one to read aloud with your class. On July 10th, we have National Kitten Day. And I'm gonna say I'm not a huge cat fan, but this is one of my favorite books. For the Love of Autumn. So this is such an endearing story about a young teacher named Miss Parks. And she adopts this little kitten. Right after that, she gets a brand new teaching job in a brand new town, and there's a lot of changes going on in her life, but the kitten sticks with her throughout that. And even her class gets to know this little kitten and how much autumn means to their teacher. But then one day there's a big storm and Autumn runs away, and Miss Parks is afraid she'll never see her again. And her class helps her look for the kitten and they don't find her. Then all of a sudden, one day the kitten shows up on the back steps, but it's noticeably been taken care of, even though it's been weeks and weeks since Miss Parks has seen her kitten. And as you go through, you'll find out how the story ends. It's a very sweet story that I think your students will enjoy. So this is a great one for National Kitten Day in July. July 13th is Cow Appreciation Day. And what better book to celebrate with than Click Clack Moo, Cows That Type. In this book, Farmer Brown has a problem. His cows like to type on their typewriter all day long. But then the cows start to leave him notes demanding some things for the barn. And that's when things start to get really interesting, and you'll see how Farmer Brown and the animals deal with this problem. This is a really funny story that I think your students will love. July 18th might be my favorite day of the whole year. National Ice Cream Day. And because I love ice cream, I don't have 1 book to share with you, I have 3. The first book that I have is Should I Share My Ice Cream? And I don't know about your students, but mine were always a huge fan of the Elephant and Piggy books. This is a simple story about Gerald who buys some ice cream, and then he starts to think, should I share my ice cream with my best friend Piggy? And throughout the story, he goes back and forth with, I want to keep it for myself, but I should share it with my best friend, until something happens that makes the decision for him. You'll have to read it to find out, but this is a great book because That's something that our students grapple with all the time. They have something really exciting that they want to keep for themselves, but they also want to share it with their best friend, and going back and forth with that decision can be really tricky. So reading this with them and seeing how Gerald and Piggy deal with it is a great starting point for your students to discuss what they would do in that situation. The next book that I have for National Ice Cream Day is a really fun one. It's called Groovy Joe, Ice Cream and Dinosaurs. This is just a silly book about a dog named Groovy Joe who shares his ice cream with some dinosaurs. But the best part about this is there is a free song download that goes with it. It almost sings the entire story, and I think your students really get into it, dancing and singing along with the song. It's a super catchy tune, so that's another fun way to really bring this book to life. Another great one for National Ice Cream Day. The last book that I have for National Ice Cream Day is a nonfiction book. This one is called Ice Cream, The Full Scoop. And in this one, we learn how ice cream is made, from the ingredients that are used, to the machines that create it, to how it is delivered and served to customers. I think students will really enjoy seeing that timeline of how ice cream starts and what happens to it before it gets to the ice cream cone in their hand. So they'll learn a lot about ice cream through this nonfiction book for National Ice Cream Day. For National Cousins Day on July 24th, I picked up The Relatives Came. And I love this book because there's so many emotions that go on throughout this story. And it takes place in the summer too, so I think that makes it extra special as a read aloud during July. But we start off with the anticipation and excitement of knowing that your relatives, that your cousins are coming to visit. And then all the fun that you have with them while they are there. And then that sadness when it's time for them to go home, but feeling hopeful that you'll get to see them again next year. I know this one is especially exciting this year because it's been so long since so many of us have seen our relatives, and now that we're finally starting to get together with friends and cousins again, this will be a great read aloud for National Cousins Day. And to round out the month, on July 31st, it is Harry Potter's birthday. So what better book to celebrate with than Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. So whether you read aloud the full novel to your students or pick up this picture book version, so this is actually the full book, but it just includes quite a few illustrations to go along with it. So this will be a great read aloud in your class because not only are you reading the book, but you can show them some of the pictures that go along with it as well. So any of the books from the Harry Potter series would be great to celebrate Harry Potter's birthday on July 31st. I hope that you are enjoying your summer and getting in some well-deserved rest and relaxation over the next couple of weeks. I know that this past year was crazy and that you definitely deserve that break that you're getting right now. I hope that some of these books will be ones that you will pick up and read to either your students in the classroom or kids that you have at home as well. If this video was helpful for you, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Hit that red subscribe button down below because I'll be back next Sunday night with more read aloud tips and book ideas that you can take into your classroom right away. Have a great week.